Hello everyone, my name is Jen and welcome to the Book Refuge and welcome to another smutty, spicy, steamy romance recommendations. So this is kind of sort of a series that I've been doing where I decide to just recommend 8 to 10 random spicy romances. There's no theme, there's no rhyme or reason, they're just books with smut that I loved. You can find a whole list of these. I should make a playlist that's just all my smutty and spicy recs. I'll have to do that. But this is just something I've been doing a couple times a month to talk about books that I haven't talked about in a while, or some of them are recent reads as well, but I own so many lovely books and there's a lot of times where I talk about them when I first read them and then they just sit on my shelf for years. And we don't want any of that. We don't want any of that to be happening. We want to read all the stuff, enjoy all the things, and maybe bring some to your attention that you didn't think about before. So let's dive in. I don't really have this split up, but I am going to start with 3 historicals to talk about because I realized that I haven't been talking about historicals as much as I want, except maybe 1 or 2, So I'm going to start with that. Then I have some that just go through the whole gamut and we'll just go through those. They're just ones I want to hold up a picture of them basically, right? So I want to start with one I did recently read, and that was Curled Up with an Earl by Amy Rose Bennett. So this one is part of the Byronic Book Club. It is the first one that I read in the series. I just really liked the premise of this one the best, but I want to read more in the series for sure because I had a great time with this. I did listen to the audiobook for it as well, so definitely check that out. But this one is cute. I really liked it too because this one has a blue stocking in it, which I don't always love reading, but I feel like the way that Amy Rose Bennett handled it was really sweet, and it didn't feel like anything overly performative in the story. It just felt like these are the causes that this heroine cares about, and it fits in as it goes, and I can totally get behind that. I can get behind that when it's, when it's one of the causes she loves. That's amazing. So this one is about Mrs. Lucy Bertram, and she's content with writing scientific articles or curling up with a gothic romance. And actually, she writes a lot of articles for her father, who's within this. I believe it's botany that her father does. Yeah, her father is an eccentric botanist. And he's insisting that she get married to this really pushy religious fanatic to save their family. He's trying to push her to do that. And she does not want to do that. She doesn't want to be forced to marry. She definitely doesn't want to be forced to marry this guy. And so she is kind of desperately trying to find her brother, who just kind of disappeared, and she hasn't been able to get in contact with him. And then we have a covert agent for the crown who's actually the Earl of Kyle. His name is William, and he has went undercover as a groom at her house. So it's really funny because our first interactions we have with him, we know that he's the groom, but obviously, she doesn't know who he is. And he is trying to find out if her father is a part of a plot to kill some very prominent men, because they have had attempts on their life. And there is a rumor that her father might be attached to this. So that's why he's undercover there. And I won't tell you how it all plays out because obviously that's the point of reading it, but I thought it was really cute. It does have some great chemistry between the two of them. There's some really sweet scenes, some steamy scenes in here. I just had a great time. So Curled Up with an Earl is a great book to snuggle up with and listen to or read it. I also want to bring up one of my old favorites. I absolutely adore this book. I adore this author. And this book is The Duke's Perfect Wife. This is book 4 in the Mackenzie series by Jennifer Ashley. You can read any of them out of order if you want, but of course this series does start with one of my all-time favorites, which is The Madness of Lord Ian Mackenzie, which I'm obsessed with. But only slightly less obsessive than that is The Duke's Perfect Wife. And this one is actually a second chance romance between Eleanor and, I just forgot his name. Is it Hart? Yeah, his name is Hart. And he's the Duke. He's the oldest brother of the Mackenzies, and he is running for prime minister. He loved Eleanor when they were young. They were engaged. They were going to be married. And he had kind of some dark desires that he was afraid to share with her. And also they didn't work out. They broke up. He ended up marrying someone else. He has lived like quite a full, it's been many, many years. I can't even remember how many for them. But it's been quite a few years, and he has suffered the loss of losing his wife and infant son. And then after that, he wasn't in a hurry to marry again because he was like pretty heartbroken over the loss of his son. And so he had a long-term mistress. This mistress caused a lot of problems in an earlier book in the series. And now Eleanor has been sent some blackmail evidence against Hart. And so her and her father are kind of in a tight position. They are very poor currently. And so she shows up at his home and asked to be like the one in charge of solving who is trying to blackmail him. And he has decided that he wants her back. He wants to marry her. He wants to be with her. And so he agrees to let her look into the case because he wants her close to him. And it goes from there. So the blackmail evidence that she received was actually boudoir photos that he had taken, him and his mistress had taken together. And somehow these have gotten in the hands of a blackmailer. And this could ruin his political career if these spicy photos of him got out there. So I thought that was really cool. And I really liked that there was like boudoir photos within a historical romance. Next, I have one that I haven't finished this duet yet, but I had a great time with this book. And it's a little bit different than stuff that well, not super different, but just different within historical. So this is Beautiful Things by Emily Rath. This is book 1 in the Second Sons series. So this is a Regency romance, a Regency era romance, but it is a Why Choose. Now the Why Choose is really just getting started in this one. So we're not like fully all together with everyone. And I have been told in the second one that there will be content in it as well. But to begin with, in this one, we have our heroine, Miss Rosalie Harrow, and she gets invited to this like house party at Alcott Hall, where she gets thrust into this house party of eligible high society ladies who are trying to win the hand of a lady's like single duke who lives there. And the lady who invited her is the Dowager Duchess there, and she was actually friends with Rosalie's mother a long time ago, and they had a falling out. And now that her mother has died, this woman wants to make amends to Rosalie, so she invites her to this party, not to try to win her son, because she's like, you're not the right person to marry my son, but for other reasons she's invited her there to kind of assuage some of the guilt that she feels for how things went with Rosalie's mother. But when we're there, we meet some different gentlemen. There is Lord James, who is the younger brother of the Duke. There is Lieutenant Renly, who's recently turned from the Indies. And there's Mr. Burke, who is just very tempestuous, and there's a lot of sparks between them. So again, the Why Choose is really just getting started with this, but I thought it was very compelling. I loved all the characters, and the writing was just so great, and the audiobook was wonderful. So I just wanted to put this one out there. I don't really read reverse harems or Why Choose much at all. You guys know I've talked about it a lot. They're not usually something I'm interested in, but the way that Emily has set up these characters and made them very, very like rich to me, I'm very intrigued to read the next one, and I will be buddy reading it with my friend in the month of May. So just wanted to put it up there for you. Then I have a manga to recommend, and this is one that I was recommended by my friend Madison. She has a lot more videos about spicy manga, which I've gotten into kind of at the beginning of, well, it was at the end of last year. I kind of got into it, and I now have so many that I would like to catch up on. I need to do kind of a binge read of some manga. But my absolute favorite manga that I've read so far is I'll Never Be Your Crown Princess. This one is, the art is by Natsu Kuroki, and the story is by Saki Tuzakami. I'm horrible. Don't blame me. It's not, I can't speak it. So this one is, this heroine, like, it involves like kind of like reincarnation or something like that. She like wakes up in this world where she's supposed to marry the crown prince, and she doesn't want to do it. And so she goes to this ball to lose her virginity, and she ends up losing her virginity to the prince. So when she thinks she's going to be able to turn down his marriage proposal because she's no longer a virgin, he's like, well, I'm the one who took your virginity though, so it's going to happen. So that's kind of like the setup of this. There's 2 volumes out right now. The 3rd one is coming soon. I want it so freaking bad, but I just absolutely loved this one, and some of the like craziness of the ball, like it was just nuts, but I loved it so much. Let me see where's the color picture at. There's a pretty feisty picture in here. I just love it. So I really recommend this manga. I had a really fun time with it, and I can't wait to read more of it. All right, now we have a lovely dark mafia romance to talk about, and that is Unchosen Ruler by Maggie Cole. This is book 6 in her Mafia War series, but it's book 1 in the O'Malley family side of it. Like, she has them split up into like 5s basically. So there was 5 of the Ivanovs, and then there's 5 of the O'Malleys. And this one is about, his name totally just left my mind. Haley is the heroine. Liam is the hero, and he's actually been in prison for many years for a scenario you find out about within the book. So now he's gotten out, and he needs to get caught up on the business because his father, the patriarch of the family, is very sick. He is going to die soon, and Liam needs to get up to speed, but he also like needs to earn the respect of the men because he's been out of the game for all this time, even though like he's been in prison serving time. And he ends up seeing Haley, who is actually I think she's a kindergarten or an elementary teacher, and they meet because her friends are married to a lot of the mafia men, and so she doesn't immediately know who he is, but she knows a little bit that he's like involved with this stuff. But they just have this amazing chemistry, and Liam just thinks she's so like pure and outside of everything that he's known for all these years in prison, and he really wants there to be something between them, even though he doesn't want to get her involved in everything. But it turns out Haley has more to her past than even she knows. Like, there's some secrets about her life that even she didn't know. And so seeing all of that come out is very interesting. But some of the things I really loved about this is this one has some really fun sexy times between them. There is a game that they play when they have sex sometimes that just like, I thought it was ingenious and it was so much fun. But I really, really love this one. It's in my top 3 like in the series, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention because Mafia May, you know, let's read some mafia romance. But Maggie Cole's books, all of them from Ruthless Stranger on, all have audiobooks, and they're amazing. She got some great performers to do it, so you can binge read these all on audio, which is amazing, or on KU, so definitely check it out. Then I wanted to throw up The Pool Boy by Nikki Sloan. Wanted to put this in there. This is one that I just enjoyed so much. I know a lot of my friends love as well. It's very spicy, a little bit forbidden. It's actually a best friend's son romance. And our heroine, Erica, she's recently gotten divorced. She got herself a boob job. She has let herself feel good after finding her husband cheating on her with, I think, his coworker, who's a man. So her self-esteem took a hit. So she's helping herself feel better. And she has a pool boy who is her friend's son who cleans her pool every so often. And one day she happens to be topless sunbathing when he comes to clean the pool. And she like didn't know he was going to be there that day to do it. And he has had like the hots for her for a while. And the chemistry just explodes between the two of them. And it's nuts. Okay, like it's nuts. And Nikki Sloan doesn't hold back. Like, this is very spicy, but it also, I think it was interesting to see a different scenario where it was a best friend's son instead of like a best friend's daughter, and how like women would react in this scenario. I think is very interesting to see. And then I also like, because Erica is in the music industry, and I think Troy is his name. Yeah, Troy is a musician, and the way that like they kind of work together towards that was really cool as well. So yeah, this takes place in the Nashville neighborhood like the other ones, but each of these you can read as a standalone. And she actually has another one coming that's called The Good Girl coming soon, and I can't wait. I love the books in this series. They're great. All right, let's see where we want to go. Okay, then we have The Warlocks Kiss by Tiffany Roberts. This is one of their, like, it's not like an old book by any means, but this one they put out in 2019. And it recently got a new cover. So yeah, The Warlocks Kiss. This is so cool. This one is really interesting because it's kind of like a post-apocalyptic story, but there is also like magic and stuff involved. So there was this event called the Sundering that happened, and it killed millions of people. and it filled the world with supernatural creatures. And so for Adeline, like, her parents died during this, and so it's just her and her younger brother. There's also something scary because Adeline has a cancer, and it's a brain cancer, and she's dying. Okay, so trigger warnings for that. But it's causing her to have these seizures that cause her to black out for a certain amount of time. And so she, at any moment, could be a liability to her younger brother. And so she's been trying to teach him how to take care of himself, but it's so hard. And they happen to stumble across this mansion that seems to be like fully stocked with things like peanut butter and other foods. And they are there to wait out a storm. And there happens to be this warlock named Merrick who lives there. And he's lived there for centuries, or for like decades and centuries. And he really thinks that's what's happening to humans. Like, they deserve it, because he has had some traumatic things happen in his past because of superstitious people. And he's very distrustful of these humans. They're eating his peanut butter. I know peanut butter is a big thing in here. They're eating his peanut butter and getting into his space, and he just wants them gone. He wants them to go. But he feels this amazing connection with Adeline. And so when he finds out that she's dying, he wants to use his magic in any way possible to save her. So, of course, there's an HEA. Nobody dies of any disease in here. But it also is beautiful. And, again, if you like post-apocalyptic stuff like me, throw in the Tiffany Roberts delightfulness, and you got it right here. So, highly recommend The Warlocks Kiss. I listened to the audiobook for this one as well. Then, I decided I needed to pull out one of my special editions to share, because, again, like I've said, part of the purpose of this series that I do is that I want to share books that I don't get to show enough. So I have A Worthy Opponent by Katie Robert. This is her special edition hardbacks that have clinch covers on the front. They also have beautiful, like, details on the book. I adore this series so much. So when she did this Kickstarter, I loved it. Let me see. They also just have these, like, pretty designs on the covers and everything. And so I absolutely love it. Once Upon a Time. So this one is a Tink and Captain Hook romance. This one is book 3 in the series, but you can read any of these out of order whenever you want. Totally fine. But this one is enemies to lovers, like kind of a marriage of convenience scenario. So Tink has been living in the underworld, which is Hades' sex club that he has. And she had entered a contract with him that was keeping her safe from Peter Pan. So Peter Pan's big bad news in this series. And her contract is up with Hades, and he basically kicks her out because he's like, you need to be free of this, and you won't do that until you're on your own and you have to deal with it. It's a bit harsh. It's a bit scary what he does to her. Won't lie. But Daddy Hades, he knows what he's doing. And then we enter Hook, who he wants to take down Peter, and he also wants to help keep Tink safe. She has some like animosity towards him, doesn't fully trust him because he used to work for Peter, and so she just doesn't want anything to do with that life. But he's like, Peter is going to comfort you, and you will be the safest if you're with me. So they agree to this marriage of convenience. However, he's like, we're also going, like, sex needs to happen too, because they have crazy chemistry with each other. And it's amazing. Like, it's amazing. But I also really love how they get to know each other in this. This has a beautiful scene of when, like, I believe how it happens even is that, like, Hook needs to kind of call an end to a scene because she's kind of using the scene as an escape in an unhealthy way. And I really love how they do that. I think she might call it too. I can't fully remember. I need to reread this book. I need to reread it. But either way, like, there is an end to a scene, and then, like, the aftercare that happens, and then we talk about it, which is something that always gets mentioned when, like, BDSM rules are laid out, but I feel like not enough authors put it in to show what it looks like when a scene needs to end, and, like, how you handle it afterwards. And I feel like they do such a great job in this. So I highly recommend. This is one of my favorites by Katie Robert still to this day. And yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. I just love it. And thank you to my friend Cassie who sent me this. I love it. Okay, now I'm going to share 2 fanfics with you because I always forget to share my fanfics and I love doing it. So I'm going to share 2 fanfics for you. So one of them is Something in the Way She Moves by Snape's Goddess. Actually, both of these I'm sharing are by Snape's Goddess, but they're different fics. So this one, my fics are bound by my friend Mel from Mel Binds Fics. So she bound this for me, but you can read this free at AO3. I will put the link down below for you. And this one is really cute because this one kind of reads like contemporary to me. And in this one, Draco he owns a bar and he's a drummer, and it happens to be a bar that Hermione stumbles in for a drink one night and sees him drumming, and they end up having a one-night stand from this night. And they just realize how well they get along. Draco has a dog in this one. It's so cute. And this one is just a very like low angst, low stress. Their friends are actually kind of like, oh, you and Draco. Interesting. And I really, really loved it. And it's a shorter one, so it won't take you forever to get through. But I just think it's so cute. So yeah, Something in the Way She Moves by Snape's Goddess. Highly recommend. A one-night stand to a HEA romance. I just love it. It's beautiful. And then another one, this one also is a shorty one. This one's only like 180 pages when it was clipped out. But this one is a Snape and Hermione. And in this one, they're both teachers at Hogwarts. And Hermione is planning to get, she's going to try to have a baby on her own. And so she actually has the semen sample in the staff fridge. And it also happens that Snape has a sample in the fridge because he's doing some experiments that involve his semen. And so she inseminates herself with the wrong semen. And now she's pregnant with Snape's baby. And she doesn't want to terminate the pregnancy because she got pregnant and she wants the baby. And Snape is like, well, now I want to be involved in it. So that's the drama for it. So it's a surprise baby, but not the fact that she's pregnant is a surprise for whose baby it is. But here's the beautiful cover of it. So this one is also by Snape's Goddess, like I said, and I will try to have both of these linked down below so you can get them. Don't ask where you can get physical copies. Good luck finding a binder who will do it. There's been a lot of drama in the binding community, and you can't just like go buy a fic. But I'm a blessed girl and I have a friend who makes it for me. So there you go. Those are some random spicy recommendations that I have for you. I hope you enjoy them. As always, I have the links for everything down below. If you use my affiliate link, it does give me a bit of a kickback, but also it's just a list of all the books that I mentioned in case you forgot something. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to support my channel, you can start by just liking this video and subscribing. I put out new videos 4 times a week. I also have a Patreon, a Ko-Fi, a PayPal if you want to send some support to the channel. So thanks so much for watching, friends, and I'll see you next time. Bye.